3, 2, 1. For relaxing times, make it Sandy Cheeks Cockvore time. Hi, I'm Adam from Your Movie Sucks. That was a quote from Lost in Translation. This is Sardonicast.
And I'm Alex from IHE. And I was going to do a certain quote from the movie, but then I realized it's probably a bit racially insensitive these days to do some of these voices.
You're going to replace some R's with L's and vice versa?
Yeah.
Lipped my stocking.
Man, I'd forgotten about the early 2000s. Definitely some different ways of writing stuff than now, but I suppose we'll get onto that later, huh?
Yeah. There's an awards show that released their nominations that nobody cares about, but we're going to read them anyway.
The Golden Globes, baby.
They're a precursor to the Oscars.
Yeah.
So that's like the more interesting conversation is what the implications for the Oscars.
Is there even like much overlap? Does it give an indication of what might be coming up?
It can improve some chances or like kind of give you an idea of what like awards people are thinking in this year.
Okay.
There's like generally overlap, but like, you know, the Golden Globes are not necessarily the same. There's been some pretty stark differences in other years.
So let's see then. I got the list up here. We can go through and see what's up. Best film drama we can start with. The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nickel Boys, and September 5th. I've only seen about half of these.
September 5th. What was that one? Let me look that up.
That one's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, is that the one? Okay, there's like a hostage crisis with Israeli athletes. Okay, I don't remember.
Munich Olympics.
All right. Uncontroversial category. Next.
Okay. Best film, musical or comedy?
This one's fun.
Honora, Challenges, Amelia Perez, A Real Pain, The Substance, and Wicked. Wow. Why do they combine these things?
A lot of those, are not any of the genres that they said, which is always so stupid.
Yeah. What like an explosion of films. So random.
Everybody realizes that it's dumb, and it's been the case for a while, but they have to differentiate themselves from the Oscars. So they just refuse to ever adapt and be like, oh, there should just be one category. Or maybe like, I don't know, split them even further. You should just have like a horror movie category.
They're allergic to it. They can't hack it.
But then you'd probably have to include some like really shitty movies every year.
Mm-hmm. I just have a feeling Wicked's just going to win everything. It's going to sweep everything. Everyone's loving it. It's connecting with people. Like, I liked A Real Pain, but like, it just stands out weirdly in this.
How much did you like A Real Pain?
And compared to what? These other random mixtures?
Was it
like The Substance?
I haven't seen it yet.
These genres have like such little overlap. I don't even, they're such apple and oranges. Weird category. Is Challenges even like a comedy, really?
No.
I guess.
No, it's not.
Comedic, but it's more like a drama.
It's not a comedy.
I wouldn't consider it a comedy
It's not.
first.
It's literally not. It's like, if there's one joke in the movie, then they might throw it in the fucking comedy category. Like, go fuck yourself.
Slightly humorous.
There's even a weirder one in like I think it's like one of the acting categories. I don't remember. I didn't look at all the noms, but there was some discussion on some of them.
Yeah, I'm just going to vote for Wicked. I'm sure that's going to win lots and lots.
Nice.
Okay, best non-English language film. All We Imagine Is Light, Amelia Perez, The Girl with the Needle, I'm Still Here, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Vermiglio. Okay. I'm not very familiar with any of these.
I still gotta watch a bunch of those. Seed of the Sacred Fig was good, but I mean, like, I really like the director. They kind of fumbled the ending, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Best animated film. Flow, which I think you just recently saw. It's not.
Oh yeah, did you see it?
What's going on with these release dates? I can't see it till I think it was March. It's coming out here. I missed the screening at BFI. It just sold out instantly, so just gotta wait.
Looks like you're a BFI, a big fucking idiot for missing that screening.
So Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail. Hell yeah. Moana 2, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance, Most Foul, and The Wild Robot.
Sorry, is Inside Out not on there?
Inside Out 2 was after Flow. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was about to be shocked. So yeah, there's like inevitably going to be a lot of animation snubs this year just because like the Oscars only ever includes 5. How many was on that list?
That's 6.
Yeah. So the Oscars should do something like that, but they won't.
I mean, the obvious snub there is Moana 2. Like, why is that even on the list?
It's an obligatory Moana 2, you know?
I guess.
It's a Disney thing, as you do.
Although, I think Inside Out 2 is probably going to sweep this, just kind of like Wicked. Just the biggest, most loved one. Yeah,
Inside Out 2, maybe Wild Robot. Wild Robert.
Yeah, a lot of people do love that. So, yeah, it's just probably not going to be Snail as much as I want it to be.
It will not be Memoir of a Snail. It would be a miracle if like Flow got it, even though Memoir of a Snail is much better. But I think Memoir of a Snail has like 0 chance.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you, unfortunately. But what's this one? Do they normally do this? Cinematic and Box Office Achievement.
One of those new ones to try and get people to watch the fucking awards show because nobody cares about it.
Okay, so this is an interesting list. Number 1, Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Deadpool and Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Twisters, Wicked, and The Wild Robot.
So what does the award celebrate? Because you could just look at the box office numbers and go, this one made the most money. Does it win the award? Or is there like a surprise as to who's going to win? Box office achievement, like that's measurable. That's not even like interpretable, right? What do you mean? You just look at which made the most money. Why are there even nominations?
So Inside Out 2 is going to win it then?
I think.
Maybe Wicked?
Yeah.
Deadpool, Wolverine? That's such a weird, pointless category.
It's like it's insulting. It's like patronizing.
Cinematic achievement would be a weird one.
Yeah.
But why are they even putting them together?
I don't know.
Alien Romulus.
It's literally just an excuse to have bigger movies nominated for something that aren't good enough to be nominated for other things.
To try and get ratings? But would that really work? Maybe.
They should have the inverse where they have like movie that made no money but probably should have, and we blame the distributors. Right?
Yeah.
Then it would actually be doing something useful. You can throw up Memoir of a Snail and fucking Mars Express and
Do you even bother watching the Globes, or do you just look at like a list the day after?
No, I never have.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what like channel it's on.
No, it always happens on a Sunday. I'm doing my stream, and then people in chat go like, Adam, the Golden Globes is happening. Are you going to comment on it? Are you going to watch it? And I'm like, no. And then sometimes people in chat will tell me what won a category, and then I forget immediately because it doesn't matter.
Well, Best Actress is next for drama. Pamela Anderson for The Last Showgirl. Angelina Jolie for Maria. Nicole Kidman from Baby Girl. Tilda Swinton from The Room Next Door. Fernanda Torres from I'm Still Here. And Kate Winslet from Lee. I don't think I've had a chance to see any of these either.
Room Next Door was good, and Tilda was great in it. I've heard some mixed things about Baby Girl, but it seems like Kidman's obviously getting a lot of attention for the performance in it at the very least.
Yeah, that film looks crazy. It's the Bodies director, right?
Yeah, I got sick while I was at TIFF, so I didn't see everything I wanted to, but
yeah,
I'll catch it at some point.
Yeah, we'll see. Nothing's really screaming out, but I've got a bunch of those to still see. Best Actor then, drama, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist.
Nice.
That's getting a lot of good press, and that trailer is one of the better trailers I've seen in a while as far as like identity or ooh, this is cool, like demanding your attention type thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the one I'm talking about, with that text like scrolling across the screen.
Yeah, it's cool. Shout out to Brady Corbett, who just wanted some eggs in funny games.
Yeah, I saw your egg tweet.
Oh, it's Eggsember. Like, it's literally Eggsember.
Conspiracy theory, egg connections. I was like, the first one, I'm like, okay, yeah. But by the time you get the third one, I'm like, wait, what?
It's, okay, anybody confused? There's a new Barbenheimer, and it's only in my head. But it's Eggsember, where there's three movies being released in December, like this month, that have Eggman in them. One of them is Sonic 3 with the character Eggman. And apparently there's 2 Eggmans in Sonic 3. Another one is Nosferatu, directed by Robert Eggers. He is an Eggman. And then the third one is The Brutalist, directed by Brady Corbett, who starred in the Funny Games 2007 US version, directed by Michelle Haneke, where he played a character who just wanted to borrow some eggs. There are 3 Eggmen films, and it's all happening at once, and it's Eggsember, and I am so fucking tempted to watch them all in the same day. Even though it would be 8 hours. It would be an 8-hour day.
8 hours of eggs.
Well, and
I think you should do it.
It's the only way I would ever watch Sonic 3. I didn't watch the second one.
I mean, I think you were good. You're probably fine. I watched it. I can't remember anything about it, but I did watch it.
I don't think I have to watch the second one. I think I could skip that and just go straight to Sonic 3 just for the sake of Eggsember. They're not all releasing on the same day, but I feel like if I just if the stars align and I am able to see all 3 of them like late December, I think I'm going to do it.
I think you should.
Yeah.
You've already made this much effort, like making this connection. So
it just came
take it to
me.
its extreme, I say.
All right.
But there's no new Barbenheimer. It's gone. It's like so many people trying to make these new Barbenheimer combinations. No. We've had it. Can't manufacture it again.
Eggsember is the only real one.
Well, maybe if you do it, then it'll be real.
If any of you listening want to make Eggsember happen, tweet at the hashtag, or Skeet now on Blue Sky, with the hashtag Eggsember. We'll make it happen.
No. Is it actually called a skeet?
That's what we've been calling it since we are the people that were early on Blue Sky have been calling them skeets. Yes, all the furries that
really they've got there's no official one.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Can we just have Twitter back? Like, that was perfect.
No.
I love all the bird stuff.
Those are excretions now.
I can't take it anymore. But that all came from the Brutalist. So Timothy Chalamet is next. Tim Cham for A Complete Unknown. Daniel Craig for Queer.
Nice.
Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. Ralph Fiennes for Conclave. Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. I've seen a few of these. Craig is the shoo-in for me. He really impressed me with his performance.
Nice. Yeah, he did a fucking incredible job. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't speak on Adrian Brody, but
yeah, a lot of these we still have yet to see, but it's interesting info anyway, just to see where we're at.
I'm not surprised by Conclave. Fiennes is good in it. He's a good lead character.
Would you say he's fine?
It's more that like the movie is fine, and that I just wish there was more of like the good stuff for me. And yeah, I don't know. I'll say some stuff about that score in that film. I hope it's not in the music category because...
Oh, is it bad?
It was...
No, that's exactly the same...
For the whole first act, it was kind of ruining it for me.
That's the same problem I had with the director's last movie. Damn it.
Yeah, because that was also just kind of fine to me.
Yeah, it's what made me not want to check this one out immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was nothing against the subject matter. In fact, the story of the conclave is actually really interesting to me. Like the whole process and procedure of when a pope passes away and like what that looks like and all the politics of it. Like, that's cool. Yeah, it's more where that story goes, where I wasn't fully convinced by the end, but people seem to be liking it. I'm not surprised by that nod there. I'm glad to see Sebastian Stan in there, actually, because I've seen The Apprentice twice now, and I don't know, he just manages to avoid the tropes of like a biopic impersonation, like a corny impersonation type thing.
Okay.
It's quite I don't know, I felt like a layered performance. It does a lot with the runtime. It gives like a whole range of emotions and styles, so I'm glad to see that getting a nod in there.
Yeah.
Okay, Best Actress for Musical or Comedy. Amy Adams in Night Bitch, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon, Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison from Anora, Demi Moore in The Substance, and Zendaya from Challengers. Again, with the weird combo picks here.
Yeah. Challengers is a comedy.
Yeah, that's just doesn't make sense. But Amy Adams is added here.
You can make the argument for The Substance at least. But...
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely like a comedy more than Challengers is a musical.
Yeah. So first trans woman nommed for a Golden Globe, I think. Like in the acting category.
That's cool.
Yeah. So now the Oscars has to do it, otherwise they're transphobic.
Yeah, we'll see.
But no, do you understand how fucking hilarious the cultural conversation would be if she gets... First of all, if she gets nominated, it would just... The usual content slop channels will make like 30 videos each on it. Imagine if she wins. Right?
Oh, right.
Can you imagine how like fucking insane people will get?
I feel like those people will be insane, win or lose.
Men have a natural advantage at acting. It's unfair.
Yeah. I just wish things weren't politicized anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see Night Bitch when I was at BFI. It was okay. It's not really Amy Adams' standout performance for me.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard she had dog nipples.
Yeah, they kind of do a little bit of body horror stuff, but I don't know, after following The Substance was a bit just like, man, this really kind of took all the thunder out of this concept because you just don't take it as far, nearly as far. So it's like, okay, it's kind of fun here or there, but it stretches itself thin by a certain point, and yeah, I wouldn't really call it award winning personally. Yeah,
that's what the Golden Globes does. It's like they throw some really like shitty ones in there. It's like, you know, Amy Adams is a name, I guess. I don't know.
If we're talking about like an actual comedic performance, maybe Mikey Madison or Demi Moore would be my picks from these.
I think Demi should get it. Although Mikey is definitely up there, but tough year.
Yeah. God, tough, especially when the categories are this fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know what metric was supposed to be gauging it. Best Actor Musical Comedy, then. Jesse Eisenberg for Real Pain, Hugh Grant in Heretic, Gabrielle LaBelle, Saturday Night, Jesse Plemons, Kinds of Kindness,
nice.
Glenn Powell in Hitman, Sebastian Stan in A Different Man.
Okay.
Kind of a variety there.
Heretic is none of those categories, right?
I thought it was like a horror...
I think it's a horror movie.
Is it a horror comedy?
Is it a comedy?
I've only seen the Jar Jar clip from it.
I see on IMDb listed psychological horror, psychological thriller, horror, and thriller. I see comedy nowhere on IMDb as a genre.
Oh, yeah. Horror thriller.
Is it? Maybe it's Funny Bad. Because it's directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods and written by them too, so maybe it's just Funny Bad and they put it in there as a joke.
Maybe.
I hate those two.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
I hate their art.
You didn't like 65?
Yeah.
Jesse Plemons is a fun one that got plucked out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
I guess it's a comedy, like a dark comedy.
That's definitely a comedy.
Why not? And Glenn Powell as well, I'm sure. Wasn't really my thing, Hitman, but it did have a good performance in there.
Yeah, the performance was awesome. It was like an acting showcase reel disguised as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
I liked the movie, but
And Sebastian Stan from a different film than The Apprentice. A Different Man. Haven't seen that yet, but I've heard some good things. Best Supporting Actress then. Ariana Grande for Wicked. Selena Gomez for Emilia Perez. Felicity Jones from The Brutalist. Margaret Qualley in The Substance. Isabella Rossellini from Conclave. Zoe Saldana from Emilia Perez. Wicked, probably. I just think Wicked's going to win a lot.
Yeah.
Have you seen those weird interviews?
Yeah, there are weird interviews.
The holding space, like interviews with them, and I'll give those a 10 out of 10 Golden Globe.
Yeah. Emilia Perez has more noms than anything for Golden Globes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Although it is a musical and the Golden Globes do celebrate musicals, I guess. What's kind of funny is it would appear as though Joshua Oppenheimer's The End has no Golden Globe nominations, even though it is a musical, which is very embarrassing. It wasn't very good.
Oh, and Joker.
Oh, yeah, but who's going to nominate Joker?
Well, it was a musical. That's why everyone loved it.
The End was very disappointing.
Right. Best Supporting Actor then. Yura Borisov for Honora. Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain. Edward Norton in A Complete Unknown. Guy Pearce in The Brutalist. Jeremy Strong in The Apprentice. And Denzel Washington in Gladiator 2.
Interesting.
Or Part 2 or whatever that film is. It got a nod, I guess.
Gladiator number 2.
Jeremy Strong was really great in The Apprentice, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of the glue that makes the movie work, is that character.
I like that the Yura Borisov nom. Like that guy, that guy was a really standout character in performance.
Yeah, true.
He was great.
Culkin as well was really solid in Real Pain. And that's kind of his movie, it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
He really makes it work. One of the most memorable parts of it. Yeah, I'm not watching Gladiator 2, so got to wait to see The Brutalist.
Yeah. I'm hyped.
Which one's A Complete Unknown? Normally I'm watching what Edward Norton is
that
showing
the
up in.
biopic with Tim Cham? Yeah, it is. He's playing Bob Dylan.
Oh, the Bob Dylan one. Right, yeah.
Bobby D.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. It feels very like Oscar movie obligatory.
It
James
is directed.
Mangold,
Exactly. I was just going to say it is directed by James Mangold. So.
Yeah. Is it Indiana Jones Apology?
One of the writers' names is Jay Cox. Nice.
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess there just has to be yearly the obligatory biopic entry. People just are obsessed with it.
Awards people, apparently, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if that was Best Supporting Actor, let's do Best Director. How do you pronounce this? Jacques Audiard from Emilia Perez.
Jacques Audiard.
Jacques Audiard.
Yeah.
Sorry, French people.
I love him. He's great.
Sean Baker for Honora. Edward Berger for Conclave. Brady Corbett, The Brutalist. Coralie Fargit, The Substance.
Farja.
Payal Kapadia. Farja? Oh, yeah. And Payal Kapadia.
I think it's Farge, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Coralie Farge.
I think so.
I can't.
I'm no expert, but I do have, I'm leaning in the direction of where it should be, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely trust your French reading than mine, over mine. But that last one there is all we imagine as light from Pale Cabadilla. I don't know, Honora's got a lot of good press around this kind of stuff. I could see Baker getting it.
Yeah, this is a weird year. So, with all the noms for Globes for The Substance, I think there's 5 of them. Does that change your opinion as to whether or not you're going to expect or hope to see some representation for that film at the Oscars? Because I remember when we were talking about the film, you were kind of the mindset like, yeah, there's no chance.
Only because of that horror thing. They tend to just kind of ignore it.
Yeah, but it's feminist horror.
Maybe they will get a performance nod.
Yeah, like Demi Moore, I think should hopefully get a nom. But it might get more. You know,
makeup.
There's like 10 spots for Best Picture. I think, right? Do we still do 10?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
but throw a Best Picture.
I mean, I want it to be there, but I'm just kind of like imagining the 80-year-old men who vote on it, like watching that film.
What if it wins?
I mean, hell yeah.
That would be so dope.
Let's go. Okay, best screenplay then. Audiard again for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker for Honora, Brady Corbet, Mona Fastvold for The Brutalist,
Corbet,
Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain. Yeah, Corbet. What did I say? Corbett. Oh my god.
Corbett. I think it's Corbett. I've never heard his name pronounced. It could be You never know. I think it's Corbett though.
Coralie Fargier, The Substance, and Peter Strawn for Conclave.
I think The Substance could get writing. Like even at the Oscars, I think it could get it.
You really think it could get screenplay?
Yeah, I do.
I feel like it will get something visual, like performance more so than, I don't know.
I think it could get screenplay, yeah.
Yeah? I just feel like an Honora or Conclave or something like this will get that screenplay kind of nod. We'll see.
We'll see.
Lots of The Brutalist in there. I'm just like...
Yeah, you know...
How come they pick them in this way where it's like loaded where you can't even see a bunch of these films until next year? A lot of them come out in like January.
Yeah, but the screeners were given out to awards people.
Yeah, it's got to be the special club, I guess.
And so the marketing strategy is basically have it nominated for a bunch of awards to improve the opening weekend sales. So the fact that you can't see it yet is a part of the strategy.
Yeah.
It was on my radar at TIFF, and I enjoyed Brady Corbett's previous film, Vox Lux.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I didn't think it was like a masterpiece or anything, but I thought it was interesting and I enjoyed it. I checked out his one before that, wasn't interested. So he makes this new one. It's 3.5 hours long. And my schedule's already packed, and there's only 2 screenings. And if I catch either of those screenings, I would have to like shove something else to the side, like 1 or 2 movies I wouldn't be able to see that it was conflicting with, that I wanted to see more than that I had like more of a guarantee. Mm-hmm. And there was no press out for it yet. So I had no way of knowing that it would be like, oh yeah, this is like best picture worthy type film. So, oops. I would have loved to see it, but like, holy shit.
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours long.
That's a biggie.
For something that like, there's no guarantee that it might even be like kind of interesting at the time when I was getting my tickets and shit. Yeah. I'll catch it. I'll catch it in theaters. I'm going to have a great Egg-sember. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, speaking of Egg-sember, I guess there's no Nosferatu on here so far either.
Weird, actually.
I guess horror.
Well, it's not a comedy, so you can't put it in there.
Yeah, true. Best original song then is next. Beautiful That Way from The Last Showgirl. Compress Repress from Challenges. El Mal from Amelia Perez. Forbidden Road from Better Man. Kiss the Sky in The Wild Robot. And Me, Camino in Amelia Perez.
I think Perez has got it.
Shout out to Compress Repress.
Which one's that?
The one in Challenges. I love the Challenges score.
Yeah, which song is that?
It's where there's like a woman's voice like saying compress, repress, and the synth like slams in.
I don't remember.
It's a good one there.
I gotta watch that again.
Not the Kiss the Sky, the Wild Robot. I think that was the pop song I said about that kind of didn't fit in that film. And really stood out to me as being weird and not right. So I hope that one doesn't win that one, but I don't think it is with its competition.
Give me a fucking Challenger's 4K Blu-ray, you fucking pieces of shit. You released it in IMAX. Goddamn.
Oh, is it not in 4K? Why is it not in 4K?
No, of course not. Of course not. Because they don't care.
They don't care.
They're assholes.
Idiots.
Who distributed this?
Good question.
Was it Fox? Let's find out.
Yeah, probably.
Amazon.
Oh.
And Warner Brothers. But, yeah.
I guess Amazon don't like the real things.
It was MGM Amazon, but yeah. Fuck you, Amazon. Go fuck yourself.
Let's do best original song then next. Beautiful That Way.
Wait,
not best original. Wait, I just did that.
I was about to say.
Best original film score. Yeah, Christ. Let's not repeat that. Yeah, best original film score then. Conclave, The Brutalist, The Wild Robot, Emilia Perez, Challenges, and Dune Part 2. Oh, is that last one like a slight at the Oscars after that?
I mean, they have different rules.
Drama. But yeah, I guess Challenges would be mine.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll reserve judgment until I see The Brutalist, I guess. But like, you know, Trent and Atticus, they've gotten a bunch of awards, so seems reasonable. And I love that score. So
I would want to see both Challenges and Queer's original scores on here.
Yeah, Queer had a great
deserve it, to be honest.
Yeah.
More than like Conclave or whatever. Okay, best TV series drama.
Skip the TV shit. Who cares?
Yeah,
it was long enough.
Actually, I don't think we've seen any of these.
Yeah, fuck TV.
Why is Squid Game on here?
What?
Best TV series.
Squid Games is on there. What?
Oh, and they do the same thing with the comedy musical split with the TV. So they put like The Bear in there and Only Murders in the Building. Weird.
Sorry, Squid Games?
I don't know why Squid Games is in best TV series drama. It says it there.
Is it season 2?
I didn't think that was out yet.
It's coming out December, but
I don't know. That maybe it's that.
Does
one.
It just say? Does it just say Squid Games?
It just says Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Shogun, Squid Game, then Slow Horses.
Squid Game. Oh, Squid Game is different than Squid Games, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Squid Game. Yeah, Squid.
What is that then?
Wait. Never mind. It is just called Squid Game. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna have to look this up. Golden Globes Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Oh, it is for season 2. Hollywood Reporter. How Squid Game got nominated for a season you haven't seen yet. So yeah, they sent screeners out, most likely. That's funny.
And now it's Golden Globe nominated. Okay.
Yeah, okay, for season 2.
Cool. Wow. Okay, limited TV series. How about that one? That's got Baby Reindeer,
nice.
Disclaimer, Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, The Penguin, Ripley, and True Detective Night Country. Baby Reindeer was good.
What do you like better, Penguin or Baby Reindeer?
I did like The Penguin. But again, this feels like such a weird comparison. One's like a genre, like pulpy crime drama, and then one's like a really serious personal like look into somebody's like traumatic life. Like they kind of scratch different itches to me.
Yeah.
I'd probably watch Penguin again though sooner, to be honest.
I've heard Disclaimer is kind of underwhelming. I'll catch it at some point.
And the same with that True Detective season. Like poor show's just trapped in a loop of trying to capture its first season again and again and again. It just never quite works.
Yeah.
What about the best TV actress, best TV actor? Do we care about these?
I don't care. Let's move on.
Yeah, we can go past these ones. Well, they have loads for TV.
Yeah, it's the Golden Globes.
I guess that's all of them, huh? Yeah, it's just like Best Supporting Actor TV, Best TV Stand-Up, Comedy Performance. Yeah. Yeah, that's all the film ones then.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like, the Substance is getting some attention. And any snubs, I guess?
What is with the horror thing? It's so strange.
It scares old people.
Yeah. I guess queer will be a snub.
Is there a documentary category at Golden Globes or no?
No. It seemed like quite a random like mix of, unless it was this article wasn't trustworthy or something.
Yeah. I mean,
I think so.
Every year, like, there's a lot of really great documentaries, and I feel like a lot of them get snubbed at awards. Black Box Diaries was awesome. Sperm World. I liked Presence a lot. That's not a documentary, but kind of a horror movie, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about Queer, because we both seen it now. Actually, you saw it a while ago, and so did I.
I did see it a while ago.
But people are talking about it now.
And it's coming out this week.
Yeah. I get comments saying, Adam, review Queer. I need to know what you thought about Queer. Even though I put a video out in October.
Mm-hmm.
So
you saw it at TIFF, right?
Yeah. Learn how to search things. This is a new Guadagnino with the potion seller Justin Kuritzkis writing. So this and Challengers came out the same year, which is like insane. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a story behind that or what, because I kind of go at it at the Golden Globes part, but two of my favorite films of this year are from Luca, and two of my favorite scores are from the same pairing.
Oh yeah.
Which is like, what is happening?
Same composers,
same director.
They all pumped out two movies for 1 year, but they might have had like different production schedules, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it was that, and just like licensing and who owned what going where, and just the timing of it. But they're so like tonally different though as well. Like one's like quite quiet and subdued and like introspective, and the other's like maximalist, crazy, over the top, completely different like structure to the story and style. And it's like, oh, these are
radically different.
These are really fun that they released in the same year. Like just contrasting them to themselves, the same director, similar team, but like just such different films and emotions that it gets from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a film that like I already know a lot of people are just going to be weirded out by and disappointed by, because they see the title Queer. They see that it's directed by Luca, who did Call Me By Your Name. You can see some of the comments on like the trailer on YouTube being like, oh, it looks so romantic. It's going to like tear at my heartstrings and stuff. It's like, that's not really what it's about.
No.
One of the more important things to consider is that this is based off of a William S. Burroughs novel, the writer of Naked Lunch, David Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely a lot of William S. Burroughs in this film, in this screenplay. And it feels very much, it has a lot of similar vibes to Naked Lunch, even though, it's not really going for the same things. It's a lot more broad, I guess.
No, like that surreal nature, the dream-like kind of stuff going on. So you knew that going in, because
you didn't?
I didn't know that somehow.
Oh, okay.
And I was more of like what you were just saying about like, I guess this is more of like a Call Me By Your Name kind of vibe. And you might even believe that for like the first act at least, where it's mostly in that one location and it's kind of about these characters and a building relationship. But like the directions it goes is like quite different.
Spoilers.
Than something like a Call Me By Your Name. Not that that's not like good, but man, it's a very unpredictable, strange structure, this story. But I'm a huge Naked Lunch fan, so it going that direction to me was like, oh, this is opening up in ways I was not expecting it to. So I love that about it, but I do echo what you're saying. It probably will clash with some like general audiences, because it's quite it's quite strange, but it's also, I don't know, it's quite sensitive and explicit in other ways too. There would be some fun crowds, I think, to see this with, as far as just like general reactions. I can't quite predict how it's going to land.
Yeah, it's definitely doing a lot at once and exploring very different ideas and different tones throughout and within this film. But I kind of love how weird it is. And, it doesn't feel so all over the place that it's like, oh, this is unfocused and it doesn't know what it's trying to say.
No.
I think it does kind of capture like the sort of inherent chaos of someone struggling with like a drug addiction as well, which is like a prominent idea featured in the film. Like maybe one of the most prominent ideas featured in the film is.
I love the way that information was trickled out as it went along.
Exactly. It wasn't super explicit at the beginning, and you kind of realize that it's like, oh, this darker part of him that's like kind of just been eating away at his soul throughout the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really keeps you guessing. His performance is really, like, it does feel layered and interesting in that way.
Yeah.
Where he's like putting on this persona as he's like going around the city, like trying to get in people's pants and find some kind of connection or feel this aching.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just this real sense of longing to that main character. He's like looking for something. He's lost. He's trying to find his place in it. And he's like looking all over the world in what almost becomes like an adventure movie almost for like an act, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it really does.
But everything kind of, feeds into this like longing, or even like the score kind of, the main themes, it just is the sound of like someone aching or longing.
Mm-hmm.
And even like I mentioned the contrast of this against Challenges and how this score is like the main character, this kind of sensitive, quiet, conflicted sound that like complements a lot of him with a lot of like, it has this kind of sensitive main theme, but also it will overlap these droning like electronic pulses and this kind of unnerving, unflattering kind of sounds too. And I don't know, it just makes this really interesting soundscape that gets kind of more broken up and sporadic, like again, like what the main character is going through. It just, I don't know, really complements it well. I really like the soundtrack on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the vibe of this movie, although having similarities to Naked Lunch, which I think is a really good thing, because in the film language, that's going to be where most people are going to find some sense of familiarity with William S. Burroughs. Although there are similarities to it, it's still a very unique feel. And I'm really excited to watch this movie again.
Yeah,
just kind of like, especially knowing where it goes and what it turns into, and having like a greater idea of the whole piece of it, I think is just going to add so much to rewatching the first half of the movie again, especially. But yeah, I had a great time with it. And it was one of those where like, I saw it at a film festival. I was seeing it with a few other people. Definitely, the other people I was with definitely did not connect to it as much as I did. And I was very unsurprised by it, because this is one of those movies where like you see it and then you wonder, how the fuck are they going to market this? This isn't...
Forget about it.
Yeah. You can't market this movie without being dishonest, which is what a lot of A24 films wind up doing, is just making a trailer that's like, they have the trailer out right now, and a lot of people are kind of being tricked into thinking it's going to be another Call Me by Your Name, but it's not. But what else do they do? Like, how do you get people to see this movie?
Yeah, they're stuck on that.
There's not a lot of people that are willing to and wanting to go out to see a unique new experience. They want to be reminded of something familiar, and so in marketing you have to be like, oh, it's like this. Oh, it's like this. So every fucking A24 movie that's like, especially horror movies that don't really fit into the traditional like horror spooky slasher or whatever, they just kind of have to pretend like it is. And then people see it and then they get mad.
Yeah, this is a lot more difficult to advertise than Challengers. That's for sure.
True.
It kind of speaks for itself, that movie.
And they fucked up the trailer for Challengers too.
They did. Yeah, I feel like this is one of those where it's quality, but it's so strange that it probably will be buried and be one of those more like cult classics, like good word of mouth type movies.
Mhm.
I don't know who's going to like rush out to see it outside of fans of like the novel maybe, and Daniel Craig character and that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah. I mean, like, hopefully enough people that just like Luca as a director will see it without having any like hard concrete expectations of what a Luca movie is, because his filmography is already so varied that I think if people are fans of the director, that it should probably be fine as long as they're not just fans of Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah, well, that was my experience. That's why I didn't read anything about it. I was like, Luca's on a roll. I feel like I can just trust what I'm going to get from this, and experience was unique because of that. But yeah, it's just so like subtle and dreamlike, and you're not really getting strong conclusions. It gets quite abstract towards the end as far as like what this character is going through and conclusions that are being reached, especially after certain substances and scenes get involved, like what that brings out of the character and some of the always like the kind of dreamlike imagery that he was playing with in the Suspiria remake. I thought, oh, this is like really unique and interesting and kind of scary in a way that feels, I know we had that whole dream conversation a few episodes ago, and it's like a whole endless like creative landscape for creepy and unique imagery. And there's a section in this film where I feel like that box is opened again, and you get some wild, fun, unnerving imagery. And there's like these ongoing symbols with these various animals, and that's another reason I'd want to see it again, so I can get more of like an interpretation of what is going on towards the end there, and what is like kind of coming undone or being said with this ongoing. It's so subtle at first. I was like, did I even see that with these kind of ghostly imprints that are being left in certain scenes?
Yeah.
And like the way that communicates like the longing of that character, and it's just such a simple idea, but has a great effect there. It's full of stuff like that,
like powerful imagery. Yeah, I guess let's finish talking about a couple other things. I guess we kind of have to go into spoilers to talk about some of these things. So spoilers. There's like an incredible like drug trip scene, powerful psychedelic.
It's ayahuasca, right?
Spirit
they
journey.
Go like deep into the rainforest.
Yeah, I think it's either ayahuasca or something similar. I don't remember.
With that old lady character.
But yeah, we that the way that that's filmed, like I think every single Luca movie I see, I'm always just like so impressed by some sort of like visual directing communication.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way about that.
There's always something that just like blows me away, and that's the imagery of that scene and the editing too, and the sound design. Like just what a powerful and unique cinematic experience that was. And it doesn't feel derivative.
No.
You know? Like there's a stereotypical idea of what like a drug trip out scene is.
Yeah.
And you can always tell, especially when a director like has no real comprehension of drugs and that it's in the script and they're just doing it. They'll just kind of like borrow what other movies have done. But this was so fucking unique. And very disturbing and great and like body horror-y, which is again like a fun thing to do with like a William S. Burroughs adaptation. Yeah,
of course. With the use of like the special effects and whipping out the CG to go crazy with it. Yeah, I was loving that kind of stuff. And yeah, that scene in a vacuum is beautifully put together, but the whole like structure of the movie is strange and unconventional and creative in a similar way, where you kind of settle into the first environment of the movie, and it almost does kind of trick you into feeling like, we're kind of just here in it's Mexico, right?
I don't remember.
The first part of the movie takes place in. Yeah. But then when it kind of does turn into this like swashbuckling worldly adventure, and you're getting this variety in these random characters that show up and just have these like this doctor character that he clashes with, and the addiction side comes out more, and the way like just establishing shots of taking off and landing in these dodgy looking planes, and there's a lot of like kind of striking, memorable visual communication going on there, and it's a fairly lengthy movie too, but that kind of adventure aspect of it and the where it takes that main character kept it really compelling to me, especially with how strong that lead performance is. I could just watch this character doing whatever for hours and hours. So yeah, I was never bored. I was always kind of enthralled by whatever random direction it was going to go or what concept it was going to play with. And yeah, when they started talking about ayahuasca, I was like, really? We're going there?
Let's do
and
it.
It does just take it to its extreme. I thought the structure was really cool and interesting.
Yeah. And I like that there's this kind of, within the film, like part of his longing, not just for like connection and love, he's like looking for like some sort of deeper spiritual connection. And there's ideas of like trying to understand like telepathy, and then him going on this, weird drug spirit journey. And then just like, I love the kind of like borderline unsatisfying kind of inconclusive nature of it all, that like, is there really an epiphany for this character? Like, did he get what he was looking for?
How much of this is, like real or a drug haze conclusion he's reached? Or
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, the visuals and all of it kind of feed into that, and the whole kind of period piece aspect of it as well. The clothes they're wearing, the cars they're driving. It's also very stylish as far as that kind of stuff's concerned as well.
I was looking through the full cast and crew. Leslie Manville was awesome, playing the crazy hut lady or whatever. The doctor.
Yeah, she rocked.
Yeah,
for the small amount of scenes she's in.
Yeah,
there are a few good like little kind of characters that pop up. Jason Schwartzman,
his best role,
has like a really fun inclusion
ever.
Yeah,
I've never enjoyed him this much.
And I don't know if he was like wearing makeup or what was going on there, but it was a really fun character. The way he like was carrying himself was really fun, and the whole dynamic of like that town was interesting.
Yeah. Like, I've never seen him do like character acting like that. Usually he plays just the same guy, more or less.
Yeah, he's more like himself, I guess. Where this was unrecognizable.
Mm-hmm. Here's some weird acting credits that I just noticed. Ariel Schulman, the guy from Catfish, is listed as a character named Tom Weston, and then David Lowry.
Who would that be? What
is an actor in this film? His character's name is Jim Cochran. So I'm gonna have to on a second time. I'm gonna keep an eye out for him. David Lowry is the director of The Green Knight.
The director, yeah.
So that's kind of fun.
What the hell?
Yeah, why not?
I'm just looking at the pictures of them. I'm just trying to. Maybe they were just walking around Mexico at the beginning?
Yeah, I'll have to see it again.
In the background? In the bars or something? Yeah.
I'll notice him next time. But yeah, I do think that it would be very appropriate for Daniel Craig to get a nom, if not win, for the Oscars. I would be kind of disappointed if he's not even nominated, but, with this being a really inaccessible film, I don't know. The Academy just might not recognize it. Because they're like, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this has like cult classic written all over it to me. I don't know if it's going to get that big, broad love necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Give me a 4K.
It's hard to guess with some of these.
Give me a 4K A24. Don't skimp out on me. Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, I'll have to try and give that book a go because I don't know, I'm so bad with like my attention span, but after we did the Naked Lunch episode, I really loved that film a lot and tried reading the book. And man, Burroughs' like writing and command over the English language is wild. It was written in a way that was like, whoa, this is so unique. Like the way this is put together is like so unique's the best word for it. Like it only could come from this one person. This is like incredible. And you can kind of feel that with the way Queer is put together as like a film too. Yeah, just lots to think about.
Yeah, shout out to Justin Kuritzkis, the potion seller, for adapting this.
Yeah, this is like an unexpected combination, but it seems to be working out.
Yeah. Like one of the factoids about Naked Lunch is like just people considered that to be something that you couldn't possibly adapt into a screenplay, and so it would be interesting to see what the original source material for Queer is like as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it leaves a lot open for like interpretation, artistic license, and all this.
All right, yeah, I loved it. Everybody, check it out. Sounds like we both loved it. Fucking yeah. I hope it. I can't even say I hope it does well. I know it's not going to.
I don't think it's going to really connect like challenges.
This is not a movie for audiences. Like, we can't expect anything. What are you gonna do? They had a different movie this year that was very successful. They get to release another movie the same year that is just art, I guess. Yeah, very incredible filmmaking, haunting, compelling, weird, awesome. Loved it. Excited to see it again. 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, this was a strong 8 out of 10 for me. Maybe a 9 on a rewatch. I could definitely see that happening.
We shall see.
Yeah, I was listening to that score this morning. It's, I don't know, really memorable, emotional experience.
Dank. We watched a movie. Aren't you surprised? We watched a movie. Who would have thought? You recommended it. What was it?
A 2003 movie, going back to those 2000s. I feel like we've been living in that late 90s, 2000s gap for a little while with some of these recommendations. But
let's go back.
This is Sofia Coppola's Lost in Translation. Let's go back to 2003. Same year as Treasure Planet, is it not? So yeah, this is I don't know, it must be Sofia Coppola's biggest movie as far as like critical success and commercial success. A kind of quaint little movie, hour 42 runtime, so it's fairly brief too. It's mostly about Bill Murray, man in his middle-aged kind of crisis era, who's taken a job he doesn't really care about in Japan, where he's doing these photo shoots and ads for this whiskey company he looks very sad doing these photo shoots for. And he kind of forms this connection with a young Scarlett Johansson, who's also similarly aimless and lost and using the city of Tokyo to juxtapose this idea of them being lost in translation as people, alongside the obvious clash of them being in a city where they don't speak their language and say some very interesting voices and things like this. I enjoyed this. I didn't fully love it. I was kind of hoping to love this a little bit more, to be honest, with its kind of reputation that it has. I wound up appreciating it a fair amount. I like the way it was put together. I read somewhere that it's like shoegaze the movie. And like when I read that, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that kind of explains.
What's shoegaze?
It's that style of music. That's just the exact way to explain it. It's like very sort of like quiet and introspective, and it's like the soundtrack of this movie is shoegaze. It's wistful. It's like introspective. What were you thinking?
When you said shoegaze, my first thought was shoe nice, and I was like, what? That can't possibly be what you're saying. And then I had to remember that his name is Shoe Nice.
Yeah, the Shoe Nice cameo was a bit weird and didn't fit. But, shout out to Shoe Nice. I hope you're still alive.
Yeah, so when you... I enjoyed quite a lot about this movie, actually. When you said Spike Jonze is her at the end of the last episode, I wasn't sure why. But I guess I
do you know it now?
I do. Would you like to talk about it? Because that's kind of interesting.
So Spike Jonze and Sofia Coppola, I guess, were in a relationship, and it must have fallen apart before this was made. And I guess the idea is that both of these filmmakers expressed some of the feelings or ideas that went through their heads through this breakup that they both went through, with Coppola releasing Lost in Translation with these ideas, and Jones releasing her quite a few years later, but covering sort of similar ideas of isolation and loneliness and breakups and trying to move on and move forward and these kinds of things. And then, of course, I hadn't really seen Lost in Translation, so I didn't realize the very unflattering kind of Spike Jonze character that's in here. Well, I'm pretty sure is everyone knows is supposed to be based on him, which kind of communicates some of the ideas that Coppola must have towards his side of the relationship, or at least how she felt at the time around this kind of stuff. It's a fun sort of like meta link with these films.
Yeah.
Is there anything I missed off from that kind of comparison there?
Not really. I find it interesting. So Sofia Coppola was in an interview. Somebody asked her about Spike Jonze as her. She said she hasn't seen it and that she doesn't really want to see herself portrayed by Rooney Mara.
Yeah.
Which is a funny thing to say. And it's also funny that Scarlett Johansson was in both of these movies.
Of course, yeah, the obvious link.
Yeah.
Playing, very different characters, but
yeah,
that is a weird like crossover.
Everybody having this conversation does seem to just kind of accept that, like, yeah, they are talking about each other, sort of thing. It's a really interesting thing, but I'm wondering how much of it is like just confirmed by them. Like she said in an interview, that's her interpretation, I guess. But it's like, is that the expectation? Like, has Spike Jonze ever said that? Has she ever? I guess that's her kind of admitting that Spike Jonze was supposed to be the character in Lost in Translation. It is interesting, and it is something to think about in terms of, like, you know, two people having different takes on a same experience at opposing ends. Yeah, I've seen some people frame it in a weird way where they're like, Spike Jonze was mad about his portrayal in Lost in Translation, so he made her as a response. It's like, nah, I don't know if I like that framing.
Like rap beef.
Yeah. I think we can just say, like, oh, they both had things to express and ideas that they felt they needed to get out there and get off their chest, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there might be some embellishment and, you know, turning it into a narrative suitable for a film. But it is a weird thing to think about.
Yeah, true or not, it doesn't overpower either of those two movies.
Yeah.
Lost in Translation or Her. It is what they're about, but it's not what they're about. You know,
exactly.
So it's one of the many things that it is playing with or talking about. It's like it's just the focus on Bill Murray, like,
yeah,
you know, like that he's like an original character. These are original ideas. It's not just a one-trick pony where it's like, it doesn't feel like self-inserts kind of talking to each other constantly. It feels like, yeah, there's sprinklings of real here or there, but it's more so like taking a character who's in that emotional state and just seeing where they can take an idea and roll with it. Like I think I personally prefer Her as far as like what it explores and where using that as a starting point and where it takes it. To me, it's like a lot more of like an emotional roller coaster, whereas this is a bit more like shoegazy and interesting as far as like I don't know, a few films like this idea of these like temporary connections, these ephemeral connections with people that are just like for a week or something, and what that means, what that looks like, how it feels to, I don't know, not belong or be out of place somewhere and like find this brief connection with somebody you might not expect or might not be right, what that looks like and how that feels. And it definitely captures that really well. Kind of establishes that tone with the music it's using, the visuals, it's so kind of breezy and laid back and kind of slow and sensitive for what it's going for. The way it's like portraying Tokyo, it feels like quite laid back and improv, like a lot of the scenes, the way the characters interact and the way that main relationship kind of builds. It's something very casual about the feel of the movie.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like it's what I found out is that I did at some point watch the entire movie when I was younger. Because on this,
did it come back to you?
Yeah, it came back to me. And I knew that I watched it to the end because I had the same problems. I was like, oh, yeah.
Right.
But I do feel like I enjoyed this a lot more as an adult. I must have watched it when I was like 13, 15. I don't know. And that was definitely not the point in my life where I was as interested in just like, oh, this is a character piece.
Yeah, I'm not sure what a 15-year-old would really get out of this.
Yeah, exactly. But I do really enjoy this as a character piece, and I think that there's a lot within this film that works in terms of just showcasing like the interesting dynamics of these characters and like the inner workings of their brains. And I think it has enough in terms of like comedic scenes, things that are completely detached from the rest of the story, but do carry some sort of weight towards the themes and the ideas that it's trying to get across. Like Bill Murray on the treadmill or something. It's like, oh, he's running and he doesn't understand the thing, and it's a nice kind. Yeah, it's a funny, goofy scene. Throw one for the audiences. The scene where he is being directed and there's like that poor translator. That's not really explicitly about their relationship, but it does, there is a purpose towards it and capturing the isolation and the fact that he can't feel like he can communicate with anybody in the country, and it strengthens their relationship in a way. And, those scenes on their own are entertaining. I was reminded a lot of Anomalisa, actually. I don't know if you thought about that movie during this.
I didn't actually, but what part, like the repetition of being in like a hotel and these characters just meeting and having this instant connection type thing.
Yeah, instant connection brought out of like feeling as though everyone else is not approachable sort of thing. One person kind of standing out from the crowd. Very similar like set pieces and locations.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a writer in that as well? And she's like a fan. It's a similar kind of dynamic to
Yeah, we got to rewatch that. I think we're due.
Yeah, I definitely need to see that again. It's been a while. And it somehow avoids the kind of I don't know, this I guess it's the otaku kind of like stereotype type thing of like, I'm going to go to Japan and fix all my problems and be introspective, and isn't it everything so much better in Japan? And it is like a love letter to Japan, obviously, like the way it's framed.
Kind of.
Outside, the couple of times that that was weird, like the way the cultural clash and the language use was used as like a punchline. I don't know if that was just giving Bill Murray just like carte blanche.
No, it was definitely in the script. It was definitely in the script, and it was kind of weird because like you could tell the way it was written and the way it was directed, even like they're just actively telling these Japanese actors like, say lip. Right? Where it's like in the Japanese language, if I'm not mistaken, the L and the R sound are like the same sound. It's like halfway in between. But in this movie, the way that it's presenting it would have you believe as though they just reverse the L and the R sound. If it's supposed to be an R, they say an L. If it's supposed to be an L, they say an R. Like that's how the movie kind of presents it.
Yeah.
And that was also like, a very common like misconception / stereotype in the early 2000s. So I think it's just kind of like a bit of the time period bleeding into the film. And it was kind of weird how it was like the recurring joke in the film. And then they even say out loud, like, why do they keep swapping the L's and the R's? Like kind of this weird caricature of the culture in ways at some points. But like, I don't know. It's not the most egregious thing, but it
definitely stood out.
Weird and felt a little, a little dated.
It was very 2003. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are probably the biggest laughs in the theater. Those are probably like the stand up and clap moments. Woo!
Like, did you find it like funny? I found it more just kind of like humorous and charming instead of like kind of out loud laughing out loud at Bill Murray chewing scenery type thing.
It was funny, enjoyable. Like the scenes with the Bill Murray just interacting with people and not being able to figure things out, and also his attitude I think really helped sell a lot of these scenes. Like he's just stops giving a shit and just starts responding like sarcastically to the director, saying things that he knows he's not going to understand. His character, I felt, easily could have been played by Kevin Spacey. There was a lot of similarities to like American Beauty character in terms of like I've given up and I've stopped giving a fuck sort of thing, and like just his attitude, and the humorous nature of that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I noted down the similar thing.
Yeah, like it was funny, enjoyable. I couldn't tell you if I laughed out loud at any point, but I was definitely like excited and enjoying a lot of the scenes, and there's enough in there that is entertaining for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his performance a lot. It's probably my favorite thing about the movie. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned American Beauty, because it also had that kind of really similar character of a middle-aged man who's been fairly successful, but he's opining for something else, and comes to some kind of realization with this like a young teenager character, which is Scarlett Johansson in this movie, which is one of the I guess one of the stranger parts.
Is she a teenager in the film? Does she say her age?
She was 17 as an actor.
What?
When this was shot. Yeah.
What?
She was 17. Yeah, I'm serious.
What the fuck? Oh, thanks.
She was 17 and Murray was 52.
Wow.
So I don't think in the film they mentioned how old she was. A married character. She was married to Spike Jonze character.
Okay.
The unobtainium guy.
So theoretically her character's age is older.
So her character might be older, but she was definitely 17 when they filmed it.
Maybe they moved to Japan to get married as children.
Maybe. But it made a couple of things kind of like the opening shot is like of her ass. Like,
yeah, you're right.
On the bed and stuff like that.
That's a 17-year-old butt?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why the hell would you do that, Sophie? I was already wondering why that shot existed. I was like, the film opens up, I'm like, oh, a butt. And then I spend the rest of the movie wondering why did it open on her butt?
Yeah.
And I was still waiting for something to like bring it back to there. I'm like, is there like a connection? Are you saying something, or is that just one for the dudes? Like, is that was it a marketing decision? The higher ups tell you, like, what?
I'm not sure, because I spent like a chunk of the movie trying to figure out, like, okay, how much of this is just 2003, like American Beautyism, or is it less self-aware, like a Leon the Professional type thing? I was just curious how they were going to play that side of it.
It was the style at the time.
The Murray character doesn't feel like there's a romantic thing going on. It feels more like a father type thing he's doing.
Daddy.
But then at a certain point, it does kind of become romantic, and it definitely kind of ends up being romantic. So, yeah, I don't know what the conclusion of that really is. As a metaphor, I guess, you know, the older guy, the younger girl that shouldn't have anything in common or really be interacting with each other outside of this location they're in, but they're also in disparate places in their lives that they find like a unusual connection through. I get that side of it. It's just like, what? You couldn't just cast someone who was like 20 or something? I don't know.
Yeah, if you're gonna do the butt shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's mostly like it never gets overt with that kind of stuff. Like there is a scene where they're both like lying in a bed, but there's nothing really sexualized about it. They're just kind of having a conversation. They're just kind of, the movie's about this like awkward connection they have. So I guess it's kind of accentuating how awkward they are together. Just the way they're like lying in bed and interacting, and the way they say goodbye the first time. Just, it's an unusual relationship. Obviously kind of highlighted by that unusual setting.
Yeah. I don't know how much I interpreted in terms of like awkwardness, but there was some sort of like uncertainty or like desperation or like, yeah, I guess awkwardness is not a bad way to describe it.
Yeah, it felt like awkward.
Yeah.
Like the elevator scene where he thinks it's the wrong like floor.
Yeah.
And has to like redo saying goodbye. That was pretty uncomfortable.
But like empathetically awkward is how I would describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like taking the piss out of them. It's more just like, oh, this is very realistically awkward in a way that's like relatable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked a lot of the vibes. It had a great soundtrack.
Yeah, really good soundtrack.
And really great use of location. A lot of great scenery in Japan. I like that it wasn't like too static or stale. We saw a lot of different locations that were like really interesting. Sound design was really fantastic. It had a great sense of atmosphere throughout the movie. And also the color grading was really nice. Like this is a really nice looking and sounding movie.
Yeah, the lighting was great. Really natural looking.
Yeah. I'm already like kind of, I guess maybe even a little biased towards like the early 2000s film look, like before digital started taking over, like just right at the end of the the film life cycle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, really well shot, well presented film overall.
Yeah, it's really kind of sleepy and quiet. It's not really a plot heavy type movie. It's not really what you're going to be looking for. Very unconventional as far as that kind of stuff is concerned. It's extremely laid back as far as like how it feels like it's exploring these characters. It's not rushing you along really anything. But in saying that, it never feels like boring to me.
No.
I was always compelled as to where it was going, or as you say, with that like variety of how it's put together, it kind of keeps it exciting and unpredictable and just charming. It is very
charming,
vibesy, as you said, and that kind of dreamy, formless thing is definitely a style, and it's definitely filling that stylistic bill that it's going for. You definitely see why a lot of people really love it as far as that vibe it's bringing and that like emotion or feeling it's sitting in.
It's a nice sleepy.
Yeah. As far as just exploring that core concept of like these just ephemeral relationships that might crop up, something like the more recent past lives is what I'm kind of more looking for, as far as like that working in an emotional way for me. Having more of like an emotional hit or point to it, whereas that kind of dreaminess is like fun to sit in for an hour and 40 minutes, but I'm not really feeling too many like explosive emotions throughout my journey through what I'm being shown of Japan here. As much as I enjoy like what I've seen, how it's put together, yeah, I'm just looking for a little more oomph from it, because like in Her, if we're talking about that, I'm feeling a lot of like varied emotions in that film. I'm finding it distressing. I'm finding it exploring these ideas of like loneliness and isolation, and I don't know, it's just pulling me around a little bit more than the vibe of this movie, which is comfy, but just not exactly what I'm looking for from my comedy dramas. Yeah,
Her is a lot more like ambitious and out there and very tight with
like way more ambitious, I feel.
Yeah, it communicates a lot of information within the runtime.
And is less of like a time capsule either. It's kind of the opposite. It's more like have predictive qualities.
It's a future film.
Yeah.
What did you think about the ending?
I don't know. It seemed like it was kind of addressing that trope of the going back to the airport like thing that's in all these like romantic comedies, but turning it into its own like spin of the whisper you don't get to hear, and them redoing this awkward leaving off point. That felt like I'm kind of left like thinking about what they're talking about here, what they're getting at. What did you take away from that kind of conclusion specifically?
So in the previous scene, when there's like he's about to leave and he's like in a conversation with these people, I guess, related to his business. And then he's like, no, this is important. I gotta like say goodbye to her. And then, he's taking the photo. You can see in his eyes, even though they're saying like smile, you can see him like start to tear up, and this like terrible sort of like emptiness inside of him just eating away at him, and he's like trying his best. And I love performances where there's a layer in terms of like what is the character trying to hide that is peeking through their emotional state. And I was so happy that this film was deciding to do something where it's the what people would want in some extent would be like a happy ending, like wrapped up, nice, conclusive. Yeah. And I liked that it was that the way it was headed, it seemed very inconclusive and kind of like intentionally unsatisfying. And I was like, damn, that's a good choice. And I feel like that was kind of, I feel like with the ending that happened after that, I didn't really get what I wanted to out of it, because it does kind of just leave it on like, well, it's interpreted. Maybe they do get back together, and she like smiles and like maybe you'll meet her someday or something. Like we don't really know what happened at that point. And so it's kind of just like, you make it up in your own head. I like that a lot less than the sort of the borderline unsatisfying like sadness that would have otherwise happened. And I'm when I was watching this, I really just I got stun locked on the inability to understand what the fuck he whispered into her ear, particularly because the way that they showed it, it's not like, oh, there was no audio. They didn't do that. They didn't go like, oh, you can't hear what he said. They made it so that you can hear what he said, and it's gibberish. It's really, it's indecipherable gibberish.
I didn't have subtitles on, so did it have like...
No,
what did the
subtitles cut off, and I was pissed off. I was like, why do I have subtitles if you're not going to tell me what he said? Right? But you can still hear what he said. So it's like, okay, I'm thinking of different solutions. You could have just cut out the audio entirely, right? So that, or like had the shot from further back, and that would have justified not being able to hear what he said. You could have maybe had, like, I don't know if this sounds too cliche, but like maybe had like him leave her a note, and then obviously the camera doesn't show what's on the note, but then maybe you can interpret something from like her facial expression or how she reacts to it, and then be like, what did he say? And then, that's pretty clear that the conversation should be interpretable. But the fact that I could hear what he was saying and it was gibberish just kind of pissed me off, because it's like, why would he just... it's the equivalent of like that trope that's made fun of all the time in animation, where a character will lean into someone else's ear with their hand and go, that's literally what they did for the end of the movie. And so I replayed that part like a few different times, and from what I could gather, he was saying real words, but they just like didn't make any sense. I wrote it down. Let's see. He said, from what I can tell, I want to say because it's busy, it's cool. Dump a nightmare, become each other. That's what I heard.
Didn't the detective work?
Yeah, I mean, I get obsessed over these things for no reason, especially audio related things. The first time I heard it, the become each other part sounded like Pika Pika, like he was doing Pokemon shit. But yeah, I was kind of very, very, very irritated by that scene, which I know is like not the correct opinion to have, I guess.
But I don't know. It felt like it was obscured and edited in a way that made it come across to me as if they didn't want you to know. They didn't want the audience to know. But I didn't have subs on, so I didn't see it stop.
Yeah. Like that's ultimately what we're supposed to feel. I don't like that I could hear him. If I'm not supposed to know what he's saying, you shouldn't leave enough audio to have someone who wants to find out hear it and be like, oh, it's just gibberish. And then it's like, okay, well, the character's just saying, canonically, he just said random words into her fucking ear.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my autism. Undiagnosed.
The corniness, as you said, like the open-ended stuff would work better for me. It would leave me thinking probably a bit more. Instead of the like, hey you, and then they like hug stuff and that kind of business they're exploring. It's fine. It's just enough to me before it gets like too saccharine or like irritating to me or corny. It does put its pinky in there a couple times for me, and it's why I don't fully love this. Maybe that's a me thing. Maybe I just want to wallow in the misery a little bit more instead of the happy ending stuff. But
yeah, I don't even necessarily disagree with like the interpretable nature of the ending. I just feel like there's got to be a better way to do it, at least just for my sake. Apparently, people love it, so like that's just what people talk about is like the ending. It'll be like one of those factoids. Like, did you know that nobody knows what he said? Like, okay,
it's the
whatever.
Pulp Fiction suitcase or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the Pulp Fiction suitcase is like, you know, it's a fun thing to do with a MacGuffin, but like literally the ending of the movie where it just, I don't know, there's something about it that just felt like kind of like a cop out, a Coppola out. I don't know. Like just like, you figure it out. Like I'm not as into that of an idea, or just at least the way it was presented in this movie, I feel like you could still have a level of interpretation, but just not have it so that he's saying gibberish. Like there's just a couple layers to this as to why I don't like the ending.
I guess by that point, I wasn't even really looking for like a plot payoff or anything considerable like that. It was so kind of gentle and sleepy by that point. I was like, yeah, this is pretty much in line with like what we've been shown as far as like the subtleties of how it's put together, what it's leaving out there.
If I'm going to write something like that and make it obscured for the audience, I feel like I would want an idea in my own head of what possibly was said. And then I would, like, if I was writing that, I would be like, yeah, I know what was said, sort of thing. But the way that the characters react, like, I don't know what you could, what they possibly could have said. Like, literally, what are the options here? What are the options for what he could have said? Because I've seen some people online try to, like, come up with, oh, here's what he said, sort of thing, and people, like, pretending that they could interpret a real sentence from the audio, but are literally just doing clickbait because they know people are searching for it.
But it's not like there was a secret or something, some crucial bit of information that could have changed anything about like any plot, or what, he's just giving her some life advice or some what could he possibly say?
Invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, GameStop in there at the right time. Little girl.
Yeah, like if I'm going to appreciate like some sort of ambiguity, so like Michelle Haneke films, bring them up all the time. Cachet, White Ribbon. It is so not explicit, especially from like a first viewing, in terms of like who the antagonist or who is responsible for these messes. But you do get rewarded for watching through the film multiple times, because you can, like, there's theories that make a lot of sense that are tied to what's shown in the film. And it's like, oh, okay, you can kind of figure things out. And even if, let's say, the director is never going to explicitly say these things, you do get some sort of enjoyment and satisfaction out of continuing to think about it and analyze it and dig deeper into it. I feel like there's no chance of me getting any of that in this film, and it's just kind of like, like, just you figure it out, whatever. I didn't write anything. I don't think Sofia Coppola has an idea of what the character said, is my problem. Like it doesn't feel like there's anything he could have said. It doesn't feel like any of it matters ultimately.
Yeah, it's part of why I don't really feel the same allure like I do in Her or something like this, to pick it apart more, or be left thinking about its overall, just what it's asking or going for. I just think it was good at a certain thing. This like vibe of Tokyo, this just feeling out of place kind of emotion that it's playing with. These brief character interactions and the ephemera of it. That's kind of where it begins and ends for me.
Ephemera?
I was hoping I'd kind of enjoy it. Yeah, like it's temporal, temporary. It's just a kind of like formless idea, and I like the artistry of how it's put together. I'm just left, wanting something more, wanting something more to pick apart, to decompress and think about.
I think there's plenty going on within the film that I can chew on, but it has to do with like the characters and their dynamics and just like understanding them more. And I feel like on repeated viewings, I would even get more out of this as like a character piece. But the ending kind of makes me not want to revisit it as soon, maybe ever. And apparently this is my second watch. And I think I think part of the reason I forgot about it entirely is because the first time I was also kind of like annoyed by the ending, because that's the moment where I realized, oh, I have seen this whole movie before, because I remember being annoyed at this.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise it's great. There's a few issues I have with it.
Yeah, I like all the performances. I don't know, I just like it more than I actually want to revisit it again and again. Like, I keep comparing it to Her because of what we said, but that is a film I can revisit whenever, whereas I don't know when I'm going to really delve back into this. I'm more likely to actually check out the soundtrack. I've already added that like on my Spotify. I like that kind of a lot more as an experience probably than what this film's going for.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it quite a lot. The ending just annoys the shit out of me. I would give it a high 7, and I probably would have given it an 8 if I wasn't stun locked and receiving emotional damage, psychic damage from the ending. Mine was more like a low 7. I love the way it's put together. I do think it was really good at what it was exploring. These lead two characters especially as well, the glue that holds it together and keeps it compelling. And I was entertained for the whole thing. It was just, I'm looking for an emotional experience at some point, and I just, as much as I appreciated it, wasn't getting too much by where these characters wound up going by the end of what it was exploring. But yeah. I think I figured out what he said at the end. He said, so what are we now? Some kind of lost in translation? And then she smiled and then invested in Bitcoin.
And that's what convinced her. He was whispering, be in all the Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah. Do it.
And then she did it. And now she's set. Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh my
Fun.
God.
Question time. Time to read some questions posted to Sardonicast subreddit. Damn it. I didn't do the syllables right. Whatever. Next time.
Oh, that was good. That was fire. I'm all soothed now. I'm ready to do some questions from the Sardonicast community. I head over to the suggestion thread over on the subreddit for leaving questions for future episodes, just like Gemma Ford did, who I feel like this is in every thread for some reason. They're just obsessed with the idea of us crying. When's the last time you ugly cried during a movie? So we've had like, when have you cried at a movie before, but this is last time you ugly cried during a movie. Mine's a recent one.
My cries are beautiful. I've never ugly cried.
Really? Even when you're going into the full, you're still keeping your beauty through the through the wails, through the pains. Okay, when's the last time you beauty cried during a movie then?
I don't fucking know. Well, so I I was like tearing up a bit on I did a rewatch of Memoir of a Snail. I felt like it was even better on a second watch.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer.
Yeah.
Did it make you beauty cry then?
It was some tears and some sniffles. But that's about it. Okay. Also, I'm having an issue where I watched Memoir of a Snail in theaters. I also got a digital copy. I also got a screener from IFC. Every single one of them has a frame rate issue within the opening title shot.
Oh, really?
Because that was filmed separately from the rest of the movie, is my assumption. And then it might be like a tiny editing mistake where there was like a conversion issue of the frame rates and dragged into the same timeline before it was exported. But there's very subtle like frame kind of dragging, like kind of like a skipping but dragging motion that is inconsistent with the entirety of the rest of the film, and it's only within the opening title shot, and you can really notice it when the camera's like moving or panning or sweeping across the different opening title kind of landscape type thing. And so I'm hoping they fix it before the Blu-ray release. I did something very autistic, and I emailed two of the production companies to let them know about this, because it's subtle, but it's gonna destroy me if that's on the Blu-ray.
Oh wow! I'll have to check my copy.
You'll notice it now. I've ruined it.
What if they message back like that was the artistic intent? Actually,
no, it's not. It's not. It's a frame drag. It's not even like it's low frame rate because it's stop motion. Like the rest of the film, it doesn't have that during like any motion. It's very particular, and it's a very particular type of like frame dragging that comes from like an editing error.
Damn. And I had that even when you saw it on the big screen.
Yeah. And so I know that it's not like based on the screen that I watched it on now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot what even the question was. Ugly cried. Yeah, snails. Snails make us cry. Let's do this one then. From DHMO Protection Agency. Favorite games and albums of 2024. I got to admit, my new game playing has been not great this year. Even though there's some good stuff. I played Shadow of the Erdtree. That's probably the biggest, newest thing I've played this year. I'm trying to think what I even played this year. I think I played Red Dead 2 for a big chunk of it. And that's like most of the year it takes to finish that damn game anyway. And then Elden Ring. So, you played anything from 2024 that's like really stood out? Something new and fresh?
Searching.
Dragon Age? Or
when... I'm just going to look at
Balatro? Indiana Jones?
This game was... Nope. Talos Principle 2 was 2023. Shit. Because I like Talos Principle a lot. They're doing a remaster type thing of the first one. What else did I play in 2024? A lot of bullshit. So hold on, I'm scrolling. Just checking the release dates on some of these things. A lot of them I just don't play new. I'll wind up getting into some. Yeah, Baldur's Gate, that was 2023 technically. Shit. Let's see, what else did I play? Scrolling.
Yeah, a lot of the newer releases I just haven't really cared as much about. Did you play the new Final Fantasy?
No, of course not.
Yeah, me neither. Indiana Jones. Man. It's just stuff like The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. That's a new game, apparently. It's the same games every time.
Yeah, I didn't...
That Chinese game is pretty big.
Wukong.
Wukong?
Yeah.
Something?
Some people were telling me to play that. It's kind of furry.
Yeah, it looks okay.
Yeah, like, I played Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Did that come out this year?
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks.
But I find that series so crazy though. I hear like when you hear people who talk about games, it's like a perfect split down the middle as far as like people that like Life is Strange and say it's like an example of great video game writing. But I played like a couple episodes of the first one and was like, bro,
I know.
what the fuck are we doing? Yeah. But some people like really rate it, like love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the disparity is there. I've always felt like lots of games get a pass with writing that they just wouldn't in other mediums.
Exactly.
It's just a baby industry. So
if it were a film, same writing, people would be shitting on it more.
Mm-hmm. What about albums? The question mentioned albums as well.
Brett Summer.
Yeah, I got Brown here. I saw Charlie last week live in Birmingham, which was pretty cool.
Were the tickets expensive?
Shout out to Brett. They were pretty expensive.
Yeah.
But all like live music is now. Even for like smaller stuff, it's gone crazy. They're all doing this ticket bullshits. Yeah.
Looks like you need to find even smaller artists.
Mm-hmm. Do you like Jack White? He released a really good album this year called No Name. Jack White's just pretty consistent.
I would have to check out more of their stuff to know if I like Jack White.
Cutouts by The Smile. That's another standout to me from this year.
When did this get released? Show me when it got released. How come 2023? Fuck. I was gonna say Disposable Everything by AJJ, but nope, 2023.
GNX is a good new one from Kendrick.
Oh, I haven't listened to that yet. I also have not listened to the new Tyler.
That's got some good ones on too.
I just think with certain things like music in particular, I have to be in the right environment to want to check it out. There's like this hesitation that I have towards like putting on something new that I have to be like ready in a way.
Yeah, I have a similar thing. I need to be like caught off guard or like hear it in a way maybe I wasn't expecting and be like, ooh, that's like a sound that's really capturing me. Like the song Balloon from the latest Tyler album is one that got me like that.
Nice.
Yeah, but kind of similar where I need to be sideswiped or like hear it in a film or something and be like, ooh, that's like a palette of sounds I want to revisit or fully explore. Yeah.
I'll check it out at some point. For sure. Yeah, Brett Summer, Egg Winter.
You're really into this egg thing, huh?
It's Eggsember, baby.
Speaking of, I got these crisps, what do you call them? Chips.
Sure.
that were advertised as being fried egg flavor.
The flavor of fried egg.
And they are.
Okay.
Like the flavor of fried egg. Yeah. I opened them yesterday and god damn it, it's real.
Okay.
They did it.
I'd like to try
Those mother effers, they did it. Yeah. It's kind of the random niche flavor profile you might enjoy, especially if you're on your egg kick.
Fried egg. I don't know if they exist in Canada though. What's the brand?
Probably not. I can't even remember. Because it was weird enough for me to see. I saw them in one shop and was like, that's a weird flavor to have for like crisps. And then forgot about it. And then like the next day went to a different shop, they also had them. And I was like, I've got to get them then. And even when I was buying them, the cashier was like, I was like, man, these are just such a weird flavor of crisps. And he was like, yeah, man, well, I hope you like eggs because they are really eggy. I was like, okay.
Are they Taurus?
And they were. It was in like a farm shop. So
okay.
So yeah, I don't know. We can just egg flavored crisps.
That's what I looked at.
Yeah, it is those Taurus ones. Yeah, it is those.
Okay, so riddle me this. Why in the Reddit post where someone took a picture of it, why does it say chips on the bag instead of crisps? And it's in the subreddit Vegan UK, so theoretically they're from the UK as well. Why does it say chips instead of crisps? Have you been lying this whole time?
It's kind of contextual.
Okay.
You'll get like chips in a pub meal. It's like a different thing. You know, fish and chips.
It says chips on the bag.
I don't know. We're going to need to get a chip expert in here or something. But I don't know. I'm still kind of confused how I feel about them, to be honest, because it's a bit like Jurassic Park is how I feel about it, where it's like, should you, if you can do it, should you? Question mark? Do we need crisps that taste like fried eggs? I don't know, but we have them.
I think I do. I think I need those right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ship to Canada.
I'd like to know your opinion.
They're on Amazon US. Maybe. Ooh, I'm actually going to be in Seattle later. Maybe I can try them there.
Yeah, grab some.
I'll ship them to Seattle. Damn. Okay, I'll get 2 bags.
Ooh, you better like them then.
They have a ham flavored?
Oh, that's less unusual though, right?
Ham flavored chips?
Like, yeah, that seems less weird to me.
I've never had a ham flavored chip or crisp.
Yeah, maybe. Like having beef flavor or like chicken or whatever. There's
some like weird novelty Doritos flavors here and there. But usually it's not just like the meat on its own. Usually it's like some weird thing like
egg.
Burger.
Burger Dorito.
Yeah, actually. Those
Wow.
exist. Cheeseburger.
Too far. Too fucking far.
What has science done?
It's bringing back the woolly mammoth and the dodo, so then we can get dodo flavored crisps.
Oh my god! Yeah, first thing we need to do when we resurrect these dead species is eat them.
Eat them. You know that's what's going to happen there.
Yeah, adoy.
You know it.
I wonder what you taste like.
Yeah, I don't know. I might eat a dodo. Bring back the dodo.
What do you taste like, I wonder?
Oh my god. I don't know how we got there, but I do know how we got here to this one from Tad Strange 2. Like most people, I prefer when movie audiences in a theater are quiet and respectful, because that way I can concentrate more on the movie. That said, my favorite movie-going experience of all time was watching Avengers Endgame in a packed audience where during the entirety of the third act, everyone, including me, was clapping, cheering, hooting, hollering, and generally going nuts. Is there a movie or a movie moment where having a really loud audience made you think it made the experience better for you?
Depends on the genre. If it like, I mean, The Substance I watched at Midnight Madness, that was fun, right? It is something that kind of...
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, like it's something that like has comedic elements of like, you're not supposed to necessarily be like locked into the movie and quietly observing all the, you know, subtleties and in the atmosphere sort of thing. So it really depends on the experience, I guess.
My last Breen showing was a good example of that.
Yeah.
Seeing, Kay at the Torture Crossing, whereas it probably would feel a lot more tortured for that hour and 40 minutes if there was no crowd kind of riffing along with it. Like,
yeah,
it's actually crucial to screenings like that. Or that bizarre, what's it called again? That Travis Scott movie we saw at the Midnight.
Oh, yeah.
Movie Madness. That psycho film.
Aggro Dr. One Foot.
Aggro Dr. One Foot.
Dude,
yeah.
I'm so hyped for Baby Invasion. So hyped for Baby Invasion.
I don't know. I don't know if he's taking it too far. So yeah, it definitely will improve films like that when it comes to serious movies that want the audience to take it seriously. It can ruin it. Like when I saw Hereditary, like a dramatic point in like the end of the first act was like ruined by a crowd reaction of like some teenagers or whatever, like towards the front, who would just like scream laughing at stuff that like just wasn't funny. It's like, why are you doing this?
Serious horror movies are the worst to watch with crowds of like just stupid stupid teenagers.
Yeah, it's quite good at like in a festival setting where the crowd actually understands like what's going on, then it can improve like the horror atmosphere. Like when I saw that French film Raw, I saw that with like a crowd that understood what it was going for and was like reacting in a way that was like, oh, you're like respectful, but you're clearly enjoying it, and it's like, this is nice, this is cool. Yeah, that's one. That's definitely one. Raw. Raw. Raw.
Rar.
See the bloody water, Rawley. Yeah. So behave yourselves out there. I guess that's what we're saying.
Or sing in the theater like The Rock wants you to do.
Well, that's just polite. I mean, The Rock said it was, so.
She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts.
Well, speaking of using your voice to sing these lovely tunes, Pristine Trouble 613 says, thoughts on the voice actress Pamela Hayden, the voice of Milhouse, Jimbo Jones, and other secondary characters on The Simpsons, retiring from the show after 36 years and the announcement that the show will continue on with a replacement voice. Do you think the showrunners will actually be able to find a voice performance as great and iconic as Mouse von Houten? I mean, it's happened before already.
The question implies that anyone's still watching The Simpsons, right?
I mean, there's somebody.
It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they do at this point. Like the writers, the good writing retired fucking 20 years ago. Like, so
decades ago. Yeah.
Who was even watching?
What are we up to now? 36.
Nobody.
Season 36 we're at. Homer's Enemy. Season 8. Oh no. That was not that long ago. 8th of December 2020. Like weekly, they're still. Who's like actually making them though? Who's writing The Simpsons nowadays?
You could get AI to do a not bad job at this point.
It probably has been for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. Just do whatever. Just continue it 10,000 years. Simpsons.
Yeah,
it doesn't
survived
matter.
Loads of characters being recast and redone, right? I think it was like season 35. I saw some conversation where it was like that. Wait, I think The Simpsons is good again, but I don't know if it was actually good or if it was just Simpsons fans saying it was good. I'm not sure if that really stuck. Maybe by season 40 they'll finally figure out. God, that's crazy. Even like filtering through on IMDb is like it's like lagging my PC trying to find like a random episode on season 19.
No.
Like, have you seen how many Walking Dead spin-off shows there are by now?
How many are there?
I thought it was like a joke, but we're on like the 3rd or 4th like season of the Daryl spin-off Walking Dead show.
Oh.
And there's like other spin-off shows as well. I just found it by accident. It was like, wait, what? They must get like millions of viewers still. Like,
I mean, yeah,
who's watching The Walking Dead?
The AMC. I mean, they had that going on for a while. Daryl Dixon.
Forever.
Who cares? Literally, who cares?
I guess lots.
29,000 ratings on IMDb for Daryl Dixon show. It started in 2023. Yeah, that's a good amount of people that are just watching for no reason.
Just because Daryl. They love Daryl.
Yeah, The Walking Dead.
Well, speaking of loving Daryl, there's all different places you can love him. Like Confrin mentions, once I watched a film on a treadmill. I didn't stop running until the movie ended. What's the craziest ways you guys have watched a film?
I once gave a blowjob for the entirety of the film Crank.
Really?
But it was obviously not
in
a theater. No, it was home video, obviously.
Does that even count as watching? Were you paying attention?
Well, no. I mean, I have the movie memorized, so it didn't matter.
You're like quoting it, like. Man, that's hard to beat. I've done like the treadmill one before. It's not really very exciting, but have you ever watched a movie in parts on TikTok? That's like where we're at.
Have you?
I'm trying to think. I have definitely watched like a random upload on YouTube of like a movie. Like someone's like randomly put like Bug's Life on YouTube or whatever, and it's just a race to see how long it takes. It gets taken down. I don't know if that counts. Yeah, I don't know. Craziest ways.
I watched Anchorman at Hot Tub Cinema Club, and there's a video on my channel of it. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was one of the most epic screenings.
Yeah, craziest ways. Yeah. I don't know. Ain't got much craziness.
I'll find crazier ways. I've watched movies on acid.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
What about like I'm hearing stories of people like wearing these Apple Vision Pros and like watching movies on planes and stuff like that.
Oh, weird. I mean, I've watched movies in VR chat. That's fun.
Yeah, that is kind of a unique, weird one.
Yeah, a theater in the virtual world.
Yeah, I've only ever done that with like meme stuff. I don't know if I've ever watched anything like serious on there.
I mean, it's a similar experience to like watching it in a theater, but not. I don't know. There maybe some people they would need to find ways to like get into it, but like I found no difficulty.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they were. I think I had only watched films that I was like already familiar with, though. So maybe that might be it.
Okay, let's do this one from Derviern. What is a movie or game trope that even though you've seen it before, you still enjoy? These last couple of years, I've kind of just realized about myself that I'm pretty partial to a detective or procedural style of like just storytelling. I like a lot of the tropes that come with that. A lot of like just the mood and way information is like trickled out. So maybe I'm a bit more forgiving to some of those tropes than others that might annoy me in the structure of some other kind of genres or whatever we might be talking about.
It's for me. It would just depend on the context. There's tropes that can work with talented writing, and those exact same tropes can appear in a film where it's just absolutely irritating.
Yeah. What about like game tropes though? I find that an interesting one because I'm quite partial to that trope where, like in the introduction of the game, you're put in a fight you cannot win, and it like shows you like where you'll wind up going. Like the start of Sekiro or something like this, or Mega Man, or I like that as like a trope for like setting the scene or establishing power levels, however cringy way you want to phrase it.
It doesn't make a difference to me whether or not that trope is in something, I guess. No,
what's one you like though? Like the red barrels in something, or the
I don't know. I can't think of one that I like. I don't know if I am the type to like see a trope and like maybe I'm just not thinking hard enough. Maybe there's something that'll come back to me another time and slip my mind or something. But yeah, I'm trying to think. The
iconic trope of the Life is Strange dialogue wheel or options.
Yeah. The trope of there not being any real choices. That's a good one.
Pretend choices.
Yeah,
that genuinely is kind of a video game trope, like the presenting things as choices or ideas that just are pointless. Yeah.
I generally probably don't like tropes, but again, it's contextual.
I tend to not either, but there's some I'm partial to.
All right, I have no answer. Sorry.
It's okay.
Last one.
Should we end on this one?
Yeah.
From the Pessimistic Critic. Are there any episodes in the future where you're willing to discuss a video game or TV show. I know it's been done before, and I can see why not, given how long of a commitment it can take, but maybe just looking at the first season of a show or half of a video game to be able to discuss it would be a nice addition.
Yeah, I mean,
we have kind of done both of that before, right?
Yeah.
We did those Last of Us discussions. We did that Spider-Man original game discussion. We've done TV shows before we did that Last of Us show. We did Renegade Angel and some odd ones like that.
Based. Yeah, we'll do it again at some point.
Inherently against the idea. Yeah, it's more about just like timing of like when something might be relevant to talk about, or when we both played something.
So maybe not for the main recommendation, but like if the stars align sort of thing. I remember trying my best to like finish The Last of Us Part 2 to make it in time for like the episode recording, because you had both beaten it.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we did Baby Reindeer and mini shows like that and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it depends how much of a commitment it is, and it depends on how like good and culturally relevant it is.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas I don't know what has really done that in the game space for a while. Because I think we both like played Spider-Man 2, but it was, I don't know, kind of a letdown. Yeah, and like a lot of the best like story games of the last few years is like a Baldur's Gate, where it's tens and tens, if not hundreds of hours, and it's like you can't really casually get through it like a 15-hour long Last of Us or whatever. So yeah, it just doesn't really line up.
Are you ever going to watch the Halo television show?
Season 1 I did. I watched like 3 episodes of season 2.
I'm about there.
Also the Reach episode is where I got. And it was just something really struck me where I was like, man, Halo, you really fucked it, huh?
You've done it again.
Fucked this. Like, my God. And I just turned it off, and I haven't really engaged in much Halo anything since then, to be real. It's just kind of a sore spot. So
it's fun that they canceled the show.
Yeah. Yeah, right. It's like, oh man. Just watching like that Halo community, like the way they react to things that are like cope and hopium that they've got going, like this, they're running on fumes at this point, and it's sad to watch. Yo, they're finally getting the TV show right. They finally did. Oh, it's cancelled now. Fuck you.
Bang.
Yeah, you get more like nudie chief and screaming chief or whatever the fuck they were going for. Yeah, not a good time to be a Halo fan. It's so culturally irrelevant. It's just nothing nowadays.
Well, yeah, we'll see if the stars align. I've got like maybe one thing that I would consider for like an actual recommendation that's like a show, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that does it. That does it for questions.
Speaking of recommendations,
it's time to recommend a Christmas movie.
What have you got? What are you thinking? A Crimbo movie?
A Crimbo. Tokyo Godfathers.
Oh, cool.
Is a Christmas movie. Directed by Skadushi Khan.
Nice.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. It's been on my watch list forever. Yeah, this should be interesting.
I also have not seen it.
Another 2003.
Well, I had this planned out before you even said Lost in Translation, so you've copied me.
We all copied Treasure Planet. That's what's happened.
Yeah.
It's a red one on the Christmas movie. For,
I'm never gonna watch that. Are you gonna see it because you're like curious or what?
I might do when the time is right, but Ryan Reynolds ain't in it, so
yeah, I keep forgetting he's not.
I can just pretend, I guess. Yeah. If
you don't want to be spoiled for Tokyo Godfathers, watch it before the next episode comes out. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. You can listen early. Go to sardonicast.com, sign up for premium. It's only $2 a month. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Also, just click the join button on the YouTube thing. Bitch. Subscribe to the highlights channel, Sardonicast highlights, and also subscribe to the regular YouTube channel. Bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
Have a happy Eggsember, everybody. Egg winter.
Yeah, eggs.
Eggs.
Sonic
Eggs.
2, 3.
3 egg. All right. 3 eggs for a 3 ham omelet.
No.
3 hams will kill him. All right. Everybody, bye-bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Peace. Bye.